Welcome to Exit the Matrix, Stories of Success, with your host, Jane Slack-Smith, where we celebrate the incredible journeys of individuals who've transcended their limitations and achieved extraordinary success.
Welcome to Exit the Matrix Stories of Success show. Now, I'm your host, Jane Slack-Smith, and today we are going to dive into another inspiring story of transformation, determination, triumph, and I am so excited to have this incredible guest with me today. This podcast show is all about inspiring you to seeing a different way and making the choice to exit the matrix. That matrix that has the boundaries of limitations, conditions, and beliefs, the stories you might be telling yourself. And today I have a very, very special guest, Ann-Marie Brereton. Now, I was going to say Ann-Marie Brereton, but I'm going to go with Annie. Annie, is that okay?
Annie's it, yep.
Now, look, I have known Annie and Shane for about 6 months now, and what really struck me when I first heard their story was how they made a choice. They made a choice to do something different, and I can't wait to share with you what Annie and Shane are bringing to the world, but also that story of transformation and where it all began. So, Annie, welcome.
Thanks, Jane. Very excited to be here.
Well, look, let's just, take ourselves out of this amazing world that you are now, and you're creating these incredible lives by design, authentic living spaces for your clients, and having a sanctuary, a home that actually not just creates a unique experience for them and is something that they love, but also connects to everything that they're trying to achieve in life as well. So we're going to take that aside. We're going to get to that a little later. But I want to just, start at the beginning of your journey. So for those people who are listening, who are sitting there going, I'm not quite where I want to be at the moment. I'm not waking up every day thinking, oh my goodness, I can't wait to jump into the day. Can you tell me a little bit about what it was like for you before you had this change and this awareness?
I think, as often happens for people when they have pivotal moments in their life, I had quite a life-changing event in that my first husband very unexpectedly was diagnosed with stage 4 cancer, and subsequently had quite a short illness before he passed, leaving me widowed with 2 young children at 43. And if that's not a wake-up call, I don't know what is. But even though we were living a really happy suburban life, it really did force me to reevaluate everything in my world. And that's what I did.
It's difficult, isn't it? Because when often there are these significant moments and life's okay. You're going along, everything's
cruising.
fine. Yeah. And that moment when you're not just dealing with your own personal grief, but you got little kids, and so what was the next step for you? Did you stay where you were in the lifestyle that you're in, or did you make a choice at that stage to do something a bit different?
Even when my first husband was sick, I made a choice to really work on myself in order to be the strongest person that I could be for myself and for my children moving forward, knowing what the future was going to hold for us. So I did a lot of self-development work. I had mental health support, and after my husband passed away, I spent some time obviously in deep reflection and deep thought about what my next step was going to be, but knowing full well that my life was going to take a different direction now, and I really was going to live life on my terms. My first husband's life motto was glass half full, and to be honest, all those years ago, mine was the exact opposite. I lived my life glass half empty. And his passing didn't force me. It was a conscious decision to turn that around. And I really feel that was my best way to truly honour him, was to live life glass half full and to take advantage of every opportunity that was either presented to me or that I made happen.
It takes courage to do that, but it also takes a real intention and will to make those choices, because if you come from a way of doing things that are familiar and comfortable in the past, then actually going into any situation and going, I'm going to seize this, it's not something I'd normally do, I've got to put myself out there, like that's can be really challenging, can't it?
Incredibly challenging. And even to this day, I feel challenged every day with every choice I make. Every time I pop my face on social media or, people say to me, oh, you're so great at that. It's a challenge. It's a personal hill for me to climb every day. But again, that's the conscious choice I make to climb that hill.
So fast forward, you've done a bit of work, your husband's passed, you've made this choice to actually, grab life and look glass half full. What were the choices that you then made?
The choice was very clear by then. As I said, I'd had a successful marriage by all accounts, a loving husband, beautiful family. And although I knew I was strong enough to do life on my own, I didn't want to. I made a conscious decision that I wanted to share my life and this journey with someone. And so I set about finding that person. And, 2 young kids at home, that wasn't going to involve me heading out to bars every night. So I did what, certainly what my married girlfriends wanted me to do, which was to jump on Tinder. And as a result, I found my now husband of 7 years.
And tell me, did you at that time jumping on Tinder, was it like swipe left, swipe right, swipe left, swipe right, or did you actually know what you were after?
Initially, I popped up a profile and I had some pretty disastrous dates, and I'll quickly share a story around, I was working with a business consultant at the time at the business I was working for, and he too was on Tinder. So we used to share our little experiences together, and one day we had a full day together where we had to drive quite significant distances together, and he said, let me have a look at your profile. And I was a bit embarrassed initially, and he said, that's good, but what do you really want, Annie? I'm like, that. And he said, tell me what you really want. And I actually did. I was driving, he pulled out his laptop, tap, 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 and he changed my profile to the words that came out of my mouth, and didn't think about it again. Got home that night, got the kids to bed, whatever, jumped on Tinder. Shane, my now husband, was the first person to come up. And
so you created that real intention of what you wanted. You named it, and honestly, did you put everything out there?
Right down to I wanted him to have a beard, and he does.
Wow. Okay. So you meet Shane. How did things then progress?
3 days later, he moved in, and
Right.
6 months to the day later, we got married. Now, I know that sounds ridiculous, and if you knew previous Annie, you would say that is not her. But as they say, when you know, you know.
It's interesting because we often talk about, your focus creates reality, and your focus being very certain about what you're after kind of got the reality of people who didn't really fit the bill, down to the beard. And then you were so focused. And to the degree that I imagine when you were thinking about a life with someone else, you were very specific about how that life would look. So hence the right person could click.
Absolutely. And the biggest part of that was my motivation and my desire was I wanted someone that would look forward with me, not back. I didn't meet that many men. The few men I had met seemed very stuck in the past, and I was determined to take the future and live it on my terms, and I needed and wanted someone that was prepared to do the same.
So you've met Shane, you've married Shane, you were based in a residential area in the capital city. Did that continue? Did life kind of continue as it was, or was there a real upheaval and change after that?
We actually, in the first year of being together, we both quit our jobs and we started our first business together, which was a little repurpose and upcycling business. The environment and our footprint that we leave is very important to us. So we basically had a bit of fun. We made no money, but we had an incredible time. We did some really fantastic work together. But as the years progressed, we decided that the city was no longer for us, and we really wanted to live a quieter life and a very intentional life. And for us, that looked like moving to regional Victoria, which is what we did.
Now, a quick word from our sponsor, Your Success Club. Your Success Club is a group of vibrant, abundance seekers. If you subscribe to exitthematrix.io, we are going to drop you into the club room, which has lots of goodies, resources, and a free gift just for subscribing. Now, back to the podcast.
So you've gone from having this business where you've got these beautiful, I guess, things that people can put into their homes, and Shane, I know Shane's pretty hands-on. He was making some extraordinary kind of unique pieces as well. And you've taken yourself and this young family, regional Victoria. Uniqueness that you can work together as a couple is amazing in itself. And I imagine you obviously had decided to do that and you had similar interests.
Yes.
So when you then created this new life together, how did you then progress forward to living what you're living today?
So initially we went for a drive one Saturday to look at an auction of a little church out past Ballarat, and lo and behold, we bought that church on the day, and we converted that into a short stay rental, an Airbnb. And that was really what led us to being in this region. So we opened that first property in March 2020. Yep, the one when COVID happened. And as things transpired, that actually turned out to be a positive for us, because when Victorians were allowed to travel, they came in droves, and we were at 90% occupancy in our first 6 months of operation. So we absolutely loved sharing this incredible space that we had transformed into this regenerative, nurturing environment, and it was exactly what people needed at that moment. So of course, we'd done one, we decided to do another one. So we moved up here and we set about creating our second little property, which was this restored 1970s caravan sitting on a little dam, which really resonated with people as well, particularly those in the city that needed that space and that nature connection in those really hard times. Completely, yeah.
Oh, beautiful. And so now, you're living your best life. I remember when I spoke to you like 6 months ago, and to you and Shane, and you were saying, we wake up every morning and we know that we are living our best life. This is amazing. We're creating these beautiful things. Since that decision to work together, create a life together with your family, where are you now? What are you creating at the moment?
So right now we're actually creating our own home behind us. And yes, we do wake up every day. The view in front of me right now is of beautiful natural bush, and it's the most inspiring setting. So right at this very moment, we are in the midst of transforming our own home. In conjunction with that, we've also shifted our business away from accommodation, and we're moving into creating authentic spaces for living for other people. We got so much joy out of seeing how the spaces that we created resonated with people, that we wanted to do that for people in their own homes, not just as a getaway, not just 2 nights away. People can live this like we do every day of their lives.
So what's it that look like? It's not just a design service. How do people, experience that? I want to wake up living what Annie's living.
Well, you experience it with great courage, and it is a choice. It's a choice every day. So we create spaces for thriving, and yeah, sorry, I hesitate now because I go, this life sounds incredible, and it is. And as I know, Jane, we've talked about before, there is always this push-pull. I mean, the reality of life is hard sometimes. This has not been a perfect transition, moving to a new town, all of that. There are challenges, but overall, this is our life by design. This is a creation by us that suits us. It is not right for everyone, but we want to tap into helping others draw out what that looks like for them. And by creating a space that really resonates with your values and your purpose, then that transmits out into your environment and to your community and your family, and that's what it's about for us.
Yeah, and I guess what having had many years teaching people about renovations, renovating a lot of properties myself, which is how we originally connected. Renovations were about the numbers. It was about the design aspect, and I guess when I listen to how you serve your client, you via Zoom or in people's homes, and you're hearing, how do you live? What's important to you? I think you were telling me the other day that you were designing a pantry, and it was around the fact that they were organic eaters, and the best boxes were a certain size, so you had to make it fit. Actually understanding the lived experience of being in creating that home for yourself, so that when you wake up, and maybe you have a design for the entire home, and you can afford one room at a time, which is often what we did when we were renovating. The overall concept of that space that you're creating. And what I really love about that is that you get that opportunity to say, this is my life. This is the physical space that you want, but it also affects your mental space, right?
Absolutely. There is so much sameness in the world at the moment, but we're not the same. Each of us is so unique in all our gifts and offerings that we have to the world. So why are we living or trying to live in spaces that look like everyone else's? We talked yesterday. I've just installed pink vanities in my new bathroom. Now, I know 50% of people will walk into my house and go, she is bonkers. It is the best thing in my life right now. I'm about to do a pink kitchen. My whole kitchen's going to be pink. It is how I've convinced my husband, who's very on board with it, it's how we live. It is about us and waking up in an environment that serves us. That's not the Freedom Furniture catalogue. And, there's a place for all that, but it's about looking at those pieces and drawing the pieces that are authentically you, that support your well-being, your mental health, your thriving, your family. That's what it's about for us.
Well, I'm definitely going to be dropping some information in the show notes, because I would absolutely love for you to connect with AuthenticSpaces.com.au, Annie and Shane, and reach out to them, because, it's important that we can look at our lives in waking up every day, and just sometimes just seeing a small little thing that just makes you so happy, like a pink basin. And I never know that existed. So, and follow Annie and Shane's journey as they renovate their home, and give inspiration as well on their Instagram and on their social media, because, these are stories of people who have, had a choice. It's like, do I want more of the same? Have gone through some type of extraordinary change in their lives. And, what you did in making that choice and calling out exactly what you wanted in a partner, moved in 3 days later, and then uplifted your life and are creating not just a life for yourself, but life by design for other people. I just I love your story. And for those of you who are listening to this, I hope this inspires you to realize there's a choice. It does take effort. It's not always easy.
Yeah.
But a life by design is well worth it.
Indeed.
Thank you so much, Annie. I really appreciate you sharing your story, and look forward to hearing more.
Thanks, Jane. Thanks for the opportunity.
Thank you for listening to Exit the Matrix, Stories of Success. Make sure you subscribe to future episodes at www.exitthematrix.io. Until next time, here's to your success.